You did buy... Ooh, bad move. You bought a wand. That's super inefficient with your gold, man. Just buying more regen is way better. Like, they're going to use one spell every 30 seconds, so that's... For 200 gold, you're getting 15 mana HP every 30 seconds. Like, that's pretty trash. And then, more importantly, you're going to get pressured really hard on your lane, and you're going to need, like, a salve and more tangos, something like that. Like, that should be your...
Yeah,
so you're going to use... Yeah, you're going to... And then the other thing is, all wand does is that's different between a stick is give you +3 stats, and which you already had the stats, so you got literally nothing out of that, and 20 charges, and you're never going to pull 20 charges in the laning phase, so it's a waste of 150 gold. You could easily bought a stick and a salve, for example. Like, had you salved prior to that death, when you got your stick, you could have just just lived, and then, you know, still been present in the lane and not given them a kill.
I was basically playing this lane solo, like this Shakiro.
Yeah, he's just chain pulling, but you own this guy, so like with the construct of the lane, if you buy enough regen and keep doing what you're doing, like there's no way this guy can lane against you, even with that Hope of Disruptor. As long as you just keep buying enough regen, etc. It's really fun.
Yeah,
to watch
I think
doing that.
Cause like he kept trying to go in and I think I died.
Just overcommitted in there. No, you have wand. You should live. Well, maybe you'll die. Yeah, you died. No. You're just overcommitting. Like, there's no reason to do that on a Disruptor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the whole point of doing that is just building up the stacks. Yeah, I think you just didn't realize. Even if he had his E and not Glimpse, you probably would have still died.
Usually, yeah, I was gonna say Disruptors never usually level Glimpse. Level 3. That was unexpected.
So, I mean, I think you just played way too aggressive and forgot about last inning. I also think you should still go Quelling Blade. The build I go, like, these starting items is legit just go Quelling Blade, Orb of Venom, Tangos. And forget about your stats. And then I do that on Lifestealer, and I haven't played Ursa this patch, but I would do that build if I had. And then you literally could just fly out like a salve and a Tangos. And then you have your set for regen for quite a long time. You'll have 6 Tangos and a salve. But the difference is you'll start the lane with Quelling and Orb of Venom, which will set a really good precedent. Like, the fact that you have this courier options means you should abuse the courier the way mid players always have, by just min-maxing the most efficient items and buying that preemptive regen, as opposed to starting with all the regen and trying to buy items after, like wand and stuff. So yeah, like, I think you're laning itemization and then you're like neglecting the CS and like playing hyper aggressive is hurting your laning phase a lot. Like, it's okay to play this aggressive. The problem is you have 15 CS. So, like, if you had 28 like Jug or 34 like Viper, it'd be good. But 1, you didn't buy Quelling Blade, and 2, you're chasing way too far sometimes. I really like drums this patch. I really think drums into a Vessel Blade on Ursa is really good.
I usually get drums, but like the problem is if you have a shit lane, which generally is most of the time when I play Ursa, drums slows your basher down quite a lot, and basher just lets you stable.
Ideally, the drums should be able to help you get kills, like with just the drums. So I guess if you feel like it can't do that, then maybe don't buy it.
Yeah, like I find that when I went drums, I ended up having a harder time playing Ursa. Like, that's generally just how I feel with it. Like, it would feel good if I got the lead in the lane. Like, then I would go drums. But
well, you're supposed. That's the thing, is you're supposed to have the lead in this lane. You just played way too aggressive and died a bunch. And the thing is, you died a bunch while simultaneously having 4 CS. Which puts you really far behind. Like, if you look, you're 5th in CS, despite having, like, a countered matchup. Which is just, generally, I would say, not acceptable. Which comes down to 2 things. One, your laning itemization, how you're using the courier for the regen. The wand's super unnecessary, not starting with the Quelling Blade. All this stuff hurt a lot. And then the time at which you play aggressive. It's like, the way you want to kind of think about it is, you want to play aggressive when he's forced to choose to play in the lane. But if you just play aggressive, like when the lane's neutral, and he just, like, you just push the wave so he gets the CS inevitably anyways, and then just buys regen himself, then that's like only hurting you. So it's like, you want to play aggressive, then deny, then play aggressive, then deny, or like play aggressive when he has a bunch of creeps, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I just found it hard because like if he was just constantly chain pulling, and then Tree also did not level his dingo, which I generally get because you don't usually do it, but yeah, I was getting like every time I would show on lane, I'd lose about quarter of my HP more against those two. Like I can't lane against that solo. I just lose too much HP.
The dual lane,
I'd have to. Yeah, so like.
So yeah, the idea is when they're actually dual laning you, you just keep pulling the creeps back to you. Like I know Jakira was just abusing the pool, which honestly was probably really dumb. He probably should have just helped you to kill this guy.
Yeah, I feel like
he definitely was a bad support for sure. I agree. The way he approached the lane was backwards. He should have like you guys should be playing aggressive, which naturally will push the lane and then pull, as opposed to pull then try and play aggressive. That's like you guys had it backwards.
Yeah, but instead he was just saving his mana.
For sure, he's like, look,
he's full fucking mana.
He's definitely a bad support. And also, he should never be leading with Ice Path.
Yeah, so I was just getting smashed in the lane, man. Like, I can't stay in that lane, so I just rotate top, because there's good. Nothing.
And you kill a jug, that's a really good rotation.
Like, generally, because that's the concept that I learned from you, is that, like, just rotate to the enemy safe lane, like, because generally their carry's gonna be weak, like an AM. Jug's generally stronger, but still pretty weak early on, especially versus Ursa. The same concept with Drow and stuff.
So what was interesting here is I wanted to see what you were doing before I comment on it, but when you were farming here, what I would do is I would just fly out a salve and
just keep farming.
Well, yeah, but I would farm a lane. I would go top. The most important thing when you're playing carry like this is you want to be able to farm a lane and a jungle camp. Like, you want to push a lane and a jungle camp. And the only place that's viable to do is top. So, like, Jug never came back to show. So you're just, like, tunnel visioning on the jungle and not paying attention. But, like, even if Jug comes, the only heroes that kill you in this game right now are Disruptor and
Viper.
I don't even think Viper kills you. Viper kills you and you just TP. Jug goes on you, you TP. Underlord roots you, walk out of the root, TP. So, like, I'd say Disruptor and CM, you have TP against literally everybody else. So I would fly out a TP and a salve, and I think really needed to go Quelling Blade this game, especially if you're going to end up jungling, because it just speeds up your progression of your farm way faster. But the most important thing, like, in terms of this rotation, is, like, you did the right thing, and you're on the right side of the map, but you're not taking advantage of the fact you killed this guy. So, like, the way I would approach this situation is I would obviously have a Quelling Blade, and I'd fly out a salve and a mango or something, and I would fly to ward, and I would just ward here because I want to see or ward here if a disruptor comes, and then it literally doesn't matter who else comes here. If they're showing disruptor and see him on the map, I can farm as aggressively as I want. Now the key thing to note there is I can't play as aggressively as I want, because if I waste like my ulti, I can die to Viper and Jug, as opposed to if I have ulti, I can ulti TP, etc. But you can farm deep on the enemy side of the map. You can get twice the amount of farm, literally, by virtue of being here farming this wave and then this jungle camp as opposed to this jungle camp. And so, like, the main point is, how do you stay in the game? Like, you need to fly out a bunch of regen, but you fly out 2 clarities and a mythril hammer. So by not flying out a salve and like a tangos or something, you're stuck here. You're not able to feel comfortable going top because you're putting yourself way on the enemy side of the map with no HP. And then you go into the one place like alone where you just shouldn't go. As soon as like if you just watch your map, you have a ward showing disruptor. So like all you need to do is just see this disruptor. They make this fight bottom. Instead of TPing out as soon as this guy ults or goes on you, you don't TP out. So like that's just the most important thing. Like when you're farming in a game, especially when you lose your lane, you have to think about how you actually die. The only way any of these heroes actually die is they have 3 disables. Like these 2 heroes, literally the combination of the 2 heroes that killed you literally should never kill you at this point in the game, because you have ulti TP. But you're not focused on who kills you and why. So like all I would be doing is observing where Disruptor and CM and even Underlord. Underlord's only going to be bot, but where those heroes are playing. And if they're playing like aggressive bottom, then I should be playing aggressive top. Even if it's just farming aggressively.
Yeah, it's like another thing is that pushing the enemy safe laner out of the lane, especially if you're stronger. Like Jug should not be able to lane against me.
Exactly, and he didn't. He TP'd to the jungle, but you didn't punish that at all. Like you could have taken this tower alone. You could have gotten a huge amount of farm here. Instead you didn't, and so your net worth disparity is like really poor. You honestly could probably be like 2nd in net worth for sure if you had done that. Maybe even 3rd or 1st. Because who knows like what kind of rotation you force if you play like that. Like, maybe one solo hero, like a CM comes here, and you literally just kill him. And then all of a sudden, you've gotten a kill, you've gotten double the amount of farm, and you didn't die middle, and then you're first in net worth, and then you just leverage the fact that you're first in net worth, you go Roche, and then all of a sudden, this is an entirely different game. So that's why, like, these concepts of understanding where to be on the map are so important, because they just totally change this, you know, the outcome of a game in the span of, like, 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I agree there. Like, yeah, because I could have been top net worth if I didn't die in that mid. And I forced that jug out of lane.
Like, this fight sucks really bad, Dick, because there's absolutely zero reason for you guys to be doing this fight. What are you guys trying to accomplish as a team? It's like, you need to keep having a clear idea of what you're trying to do as an URSA in this game. Who are you trying to kill? Where are you trying to farm? What's your next goal? Like, you want to get your Abyssal Blade, and obviously if you're an URSA, like, you should be thinking about this, but I'm just telling you now, like, you should be getting Roche. Like, right now, you could easily be Roching. So, like, watch this. One, you need to have clarities in a TP, so you know that. You're buying TPs right now, but you need to have clarities in TP. So watch this fight. You guys are going to start a fight by literally diving the strongest heroes bottom. The main heroes, you're diving their strongest hero. The only hero you don't want to fight, which is the Viper. You specifically as an URSA is who you're going to go on, because this is just a dumb dog shit fight. Second, this is a terrible dog shit place to fight, because you don't give a shit about this tower. It's 21 minutes, so the outpost timing has already passed. You don't care about the enemy. You don't care about your safe lane tower. Like, there's a reason you've already lost this tower. It's because it's like a place you don't even want to play. You have all this vision tops. That's reason 3 to be top. Reason 4 is you want to go get Roche. So, like, you want to be top for that reason. Like, you're the earlier Roche team. And with Weaver, you two can kill Roche right now. Especially with Weaver and Tree. You can easily kill Roche. Like, ideally someone else have Vlads, but it doesn't matter because you guys can just kill Roche so easily. And then, on top of that, there's all this fucking free farm that you're just not taking because you guys are forcing a dog shit fight. Like, you guys have already accomplished something good. You station Tree, and this is what Tree is supposed to do. He's supposed to sit in a lane and either apply pressure or like diffuse pressure. That's all Tree does, is he plays in a side lane and he applies pressure and diffuses pressure. So he applied pressure with the help of, you know, whomever, like Weaver, and they TP'd the heroes that kill you. So, like, they have Disruptor here, CM's here, Underlord uses TP, Viper's here, even Jug uses TP. So, like, these heroes accomplish their job by being here. So all you have to do in your job is literally just go top, farm top, and then Roche with Weaver. And, like, all of a sudden you're, like, massively ahead. So, like, if you just played the last 5 minutes the way I would have played it, you would be, I don't know, 13, 14k net worth. You'd have double the net worth. You'd be fucking ginormous with an Aegis. Because all it takes is literally just having a better, like, conscious understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, who threatens to kill you, what side of the map you want to play in, what heroes can kill you and how, you know, where you want to farm, this kind of stuff. So, like, it's never your job as an URSA to play with this Tree, because all he's trying to do is apply and diffuse pressure in the side lane. Your job is to farm and be on the opposite side of the map with, like, potentially like a Puck or Jakiro and get this Roche. So, like, now you're going to do it solo. He could have easily Roche with the Stevie, that's triggering. Now you're going to do it solo without Weaver and just die. Had you done it during this fight bottom, obviously Jug wouldn't do anything to you and you would have just taken it. Any sense?
Yeah, nah, I agree, because, like, just the way you explain it, just, like, is insane, because you're so right. Because if I did not show bot, I didn't die those 2 times, I'd be so far ahead. This game would be over by now.
It'd be a totally different game.
Yeah.
The problem is you also want, like, your Aegis timing to match your BKB timing. Like, if you had an extra 4,000 net worth, which is totally doable, you would have Abyssal Blade, BKB, and Aegis. And you probably could just win the game for that.
Yeah. Like, this game should be over by now if I played everything correctly. Because URSA,
that's why this is something I talked about. I don't know if you watched my new carry video.
Yeah, I did.
Suggest. Yeah. One of the things I talked about is it just doesn't matter how good or bad you do in your lane, especially in the lower MMR games. Like, 99% of the time, people are never going to catapult off of a good laning phase and just auto-win the game. That pretty much never happens in Legend, Ancient, Archon. Normally, people win the lane and then they just jungle. So, like...
Well, yeah, they throw.
Like the or they throw. Or they just do random shit like going high ground or try and play in all 3 lanes and force 3 fights at once. You know, they do all sorts of stuff that just doesn't make sense, right? So... what I try and instill in people is like having a clear understanding of what you're trying to accomplish here is way more important than how good you are in the lane. And so, like, you could see that the things that were super detrimental to your game were not that Jakiro was a bad support, which, don't get me wrong, I agree with. Your lane should have been won, and Jakiro was dog shit. But you could see, like, the impact that actually had in terms of how the game played out was very little. Like, the fact that you lost
I could have won this game, like, solo.
Like, your 2 or 3 bad deaths, combined with the lack of doing the things that you should and could have been doing, hurt you so much, as opposed to... And even now, like, you're 2k net worth ahead after all that's said and done, right?
Yeah, I know.
I bet it's probably really frustrating to have all these fucking extra items from the jungle. For me, it gets overwhelming. Yeah. Like, I get this anxiety. Like, I can't play carry this patch because it's just, it makes me so anxious to just have 7 random items in my inventory, and like, this always happens where I'm like thinking, I'm like, okay, what's better here, a leveler or orb destruction? Do I want building damage or armor attack speed? And then all of a sudden the fucking fight starts, and people are just dying, and I'm sitting here like looking at my items trying to do the math, like 50 attack speed plus building damage versus minus 5 armor, you know? It's like, it's too much. That's why I hate like.
There's literally a game where I'm just standing inside shop, just looking at my items, and I literally just die because of it. I'm just like. Fuck, which one do I take?
Well, hopefully it should make you feel better that has actually happened to me too. So
yeah,
it's definitely a big adjustment this patch. Yeah, that it's gonna take some time for those of us slower-minded people. Anyways, do you end up winning this game?
Yeah, we ended up winning. But like I felt like definitely those unnecessary deaths. Like if I can just avoid those stupid deaths, knowing because it's like I didn't know where to play. That's 100% what I did wrong because I didn't know where to play, when to play it, and that just slowed the game down. Like we ended up winning regardless because you know it's legend.
And that's like what I talk about in my video. Is like playing the game fast, playing like a Smurf, you know, accomplishing all these things. I think your initial rotation to Jugs lane was really, really good, but after that you just made several poor decisions in a row and kind of stumbled a little bit. But that was a good example of like an initial good rotation that showed like good understanding, like a good start for sure.
Yeah, because generally that's what I do. If I have a shit lane and I know I'm still stronger than the other carry, I just rotate there, kill them, and then I stay there.
Perfect.
But for some reason I didn't do that this game. Like,
and it's especially sad that he TP'd to the jungle and you still also jungled.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's really frustrating. That now that I look at the replay and see where Jug went, and I just sat in jungle, that just makes you look like a retard.
Cool. Let's look at the next one.